Hey, TikTok. So before I go to sleep, I want to talk about the words feminine and masculine because I just had somewhat of an exchange in a comment section where I basically said that feminine and masculine technically don't exist. And what I meant by that was the words feminine and masculine were created during patriarchy for the purpose of supporting the patriarchal agenda. That's why in the dictionary, they relate to either man or woman. But the energies themselves, without the labels, what they are supposed to represent, absolutely exist. They're just smaller aspects of a bigger energy. And in a sense, they do still carry the duality of the bigger energy. But the words themselves actually carry the energetic marker of patriarchy. And that's been a journey for me because I definitely believed in it earlier this year. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I slowly but surely detached from the words altogether because I realized that being attached to the words was limiting for me because of their relation to sex. And that opened up so much for me on my spiritual journey. That made me realize that these concepts that we have attached to, that we call masculine and feminine, are such a small part of the bigger energy that we pulled them from, that they have restricted me to beliefs that were blocking me from doing more of what I wanted to do, basically. And I'm not telling y'all this to tell y'all to denounce feminine and masculine. I'm just telling y'all this to share my experience with denouncing feminine and masculine, like taking it out of my vocabulary. With that said, though, I want to briefly talk about this concept of the rise of the feminine as well. So the rise of the feminine has nothing to do with women. The energy associated with this concept is more potent in women because we're the ones with the womb and we're the ones connected through our wombs. And for women who have had hysterectomies, you still have the essence of a womb, so you do still have that connection. There's just a different way of accessing your connection now that your womb is gone, but it's still there. And this idea of the rise of the feminine is really just the rise of our consciousness of who we truly are. We are not these bodies. We are not these ego identities that we have chosen to be conscious within for this particular lifetime. For example, my soul has lived other lifetimes as a man. And it was actually shown to me that one of my recent, what we would call past lives, was actually a man. I am just conscious in the role of a black woman for this lifetime for whatever purpose my soul chose to be conscious as a black woman in this lifetime. But my soul itself has no attachment to this identity or any of the other identities that it has lived. My soul is purely an energy. It is a fractal of source energy. And this idea of the rise of the feminine is really just the rise of our consciousness that we are not separate from anything or anyone. It is just a great awakening of who we really are at our core, which are energies powering these bodies. And I'm going to remake my video about my identity of God theory. That's basically what I call it. So maybe this makes a little bit more sense. But I just wanted to emphasize the fact that the rise of the feminine does not have anything to do with women on a spiritual level. It does impact how women experience this reality, meaning those who are last will be first, the head will be the tail, etc., etc. But on a soul level, it is about the consciousness that we are not separate. And I honestly don't think I would have gotten to that realization had I stayed attached to the words masculine and feminine, because unfortunately they do have those energy markers of the patriarchy. And I hope all of that made sense, you guys. I try my best to explain these concepts because they're a knowing within me. They're not a brain concept. This is not something that I thought through. It's just a knowing through my existence. And I wanted to share it for anybody who could use the information on their own journey. I don't think it's going to be necessary for everyone to do it the way I've done it. I don't think that masculine and feminine have the same effect on everyone as it did me, as far as disconnecting from it so I could disconnect from the idea of sex and gender and realize who I am at my core, what my true identity is. But I do hope that me sharing is helpful to somebody. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Love y'all. Be good to one another, but most importantly, be good to yourselves.